I know before the tournament when we met, you really expected to make a run. You were high on your team. That was the goal. But were you surprised when you came out of the gate against Hawaii and Illinois? I mean, we're talking 2 shutouts, 21-0 collective score.
Honestly, with that group of kids, I really wasn't surprised with anything. Like you touched on, our goal going into it was the U.S. championship minimum, and they started off as we expected. They played really well. Getting that first game under the belt, especially shutting out a perennial powerhouse like Hawaii 8-0, really gave the kids a lot of confidence.
We were confident. We knew what these guys were capable of. We had said it with you before, and watching them play grow the last couple years, we knew what they were capable of. So you never expect to shut anybody out, I guess, but we knew that was a possibility.
We were looking to do that, especially against Hawaii, because usually they make it far.
I thought they were going to be a lot closer games. Hawaii's usually a pretty good team, defense and offense. They usually hit pretty well. I just thought it was going to be a much closer game than it was.
I knew the capability of our boys, and like I said in the earlier interview that we did with you, I had watched a lot of their games. I knew exactly what we were coming up against. I knew their pitching, I knew their hitting. I did my homework, and I went walking into it. I told at one of our practices, I was telling Rob and Bobby, I said, I don't know if anybody can run with us on the U.S. side. I was like, the international side is, I'm not 100% sure, but I had a feeling we could do a lot of damage.
Your fellow coaches, they kind of call you the little bit of the guru when it comes to scouting, and they're right, because you're calling it right here, because that's just the way it played out.
And the 0-1 line shot back towards short. It's through into center field. 1 run will come in to score. And Michigan has taken the lead. An RBI single. It brings in Boyke, and Michigan makes it 1-0. Really good piece of hitting by Lucas there to stay down on it, take it the other way. Tough hop there for Chase Kawakami at short. Griffin Krakow, another left-handed bat. This one gets all the way to the backstop. Carmino Koski trying to score. The tag applied, not in time. Koski's fired up as Michigan takes a 2-0 lead on the wild pitch. Good look at it here. Blackwell trying to cover, and the tag just a little bit late. Athletic play there by the pitcher. Now starts a fresh inning of his own. And Boyke flips one down the left field line. Long run for Zaid Ramo up against the wall, and he makes the grab. What a catch out there. That was a long run for Ramo, and he bangs up against the chain link fence. As the breaking pitch hit on the ground towards third base, Furutani up with it. Throw is offline to first. 1 run comes in to score. Schufelt will follow, and that makes the score 4-0 Michigan. And this one hit on the ground, back up the middle towards second. Panui over to first, not in time, and another run scores for Michigan. Day that started at 11 a.m. all the way back with Florida and Pennsylvania. Snap throw down to second. It gets away, and that'll allow the 8th run of the game to come in to score. Chases one out of the zone. That'll be a strikeout, and that'll do it. Michigan, the host from District 5, Taylor North Little League, on the path back to the championship game.
This is hit up the middle. Double play possibility here. They step on second. Doty over to first. Double play complete. So what a start for Taylor North Little League. Lucas Doty steps on second, then over to Carmino Koski. So big pitch coming up here from Caden Crump. This ball's going to be hit, and it is through the right side for a base hit. 1 run comes in for Michigan. They're going to hold the second. But how about an RBI base hit by Lucas Doty? This one's drilled to center field, all the way to the wall. 1 run is in. Here comes the second. Robinson, the center fielder, was able to retrieve it play at the plate is out. This ball was ripped like a missile. So Michigan electing to challenge. Oh, it looked like his foot was in there safely. And let's see. Overturned at home plate. Loriot, that one lifted to left. Is it deep enough to tag up? A diving catch is made, but going to the ground, that allows the tag for Michigan. They'll score again to make it 8-0. So pretty nice catch made out there. Chase Truckman just laying out for it. Dangerous batter here if you're Illinois. Boyke can launch one, and he does. That's in a tough spot right down the left field line. One run is in. Here comes the second. Michigan has blown this game wide open. Tell you what, Cole Boyke has come to the park to play tonight. The starting pitcher, and comes through right there for his team. A couple big RBIs and now a double-digit lead. Got the runner caught up here. Try and throw down to third base. And he's called out. Struck him out. So Michigan gets it done. 13-0 the final score. They do it in 5 innings. They do it impressively.
Playing at home like this, okay, always an advantage, or is it a disadvantage at times? I mean, there's a lot going on there.
I think it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
You know, you get the disadvantage of having the big crowd, your friends out there being on that big stage. But as we saw in this tournament, those students over there, those younger kids, they were awesome. They were great. Had to remind them a couple times, to be respectful, but they did great. It helps us. It helped us. We fed off it, and we used it to our advantage. So I think it goes both ways.
I'd say it's more of an advantage, but there is some times where it is a distraction because it gets so loud you can barely hear, but it does the same thing for the other team too.
I would say it's both ways. I mean, it was great during the games to have that energy. It was quite loud on the field at times. It really gave us that extra boost. But also it could, at times when we weren't playing, it was kind of, while we're trying to warm up and stuff, it was kind of a little bit of a distraction at times. I mean, people were excited to see the kids and us and stuff, so it kind of, we were rock stars for a week, so it was kind of hard to be around at times.
That's another thing that we prepared them for. There's going to be a lot of people around. People are going to be yelling your names from the bleachers and standing around the fence, so we prepared them, and they handled it really well. And it was a huge bonus with what everybody was calling the student section, and the way they were cheering these guys on and the support that they were given. It was awesome to be a part of.
All the fans cheering you on, and them not having that many, it's definitely an advantage.
And you guys had your own cheering section on top of that.
Student
Did you
section.
anticipate that coming?
No.
No? Okay. Did you know a lot of people in that section?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lucas Doty, the shortstop now. Koski on second, Spencer on first, and a line shot into right center. Carmino Koski being waved around. He's going to score the first run of the game. An RBI base hit. So Michigan strikes first here, and they keep their hot bats going. Joshua Little batting in the cleanup spot for Texas, and he lines one out to right center. This is going to hit the gap and hop over the wall for a ground rule double. It'll score Colby Martin. Really good piece of hitting to drive that one the other way. This might just be an offensive game here. Isaiah Escalante, the batter. Teammates call him Zay. And he lines one out to left field. That'll go all the way into the gap. It'll give Texas the lead. Throw goes into third. It's knocked around by Alex Miller there. It's an RBI double for Isaiah Escalante. He gives his team a 4-3 lead. Nobody aboard for Michigan here, and a line shot out to right. This is going to be a fair ball off the base of the wall. Rounding first, heading for second is Doty. What a throw from right field. Oh, Roman Boyd. A strike from the wall in right. Able to erase Doty from the base paths. Looking like Aaron Judge out there playing it off the base of the wall. And this one gets to the backstop, gets away from the catcher. Krakow will come in to score, and it gets away. Here comes Hollabaugh. He will score, and we are tied. And this one grounded back up the middle into center field. Koski scores. Spencer being waved around. He will score. 3-hit night for Lucas Doty. Line shot to third, caught. Miller to his feet. What a play at the hot corner. 3 up, 3 down. That makes it a full count. Spencer strikes him out, and he strikes out the side. 8 strikeouts tonight for Tristan Spencer, and Michigan wins it 9-5. Here at Heritage Park in Taylor, Michigan, the winner of this one advances on to the Junior League World Series championship game tomorrow afternoon. And this one hit down the third base line, and it gets into left field. Koski will score. Here comes Tristan Spencer. He scores. It is 2-0 Michigan. And the 2-2 from Boyke. A nice curveball lifted over the head of Miller and into left. They're going to wave around good. Here's the throw home. It's a good one. It's cut off. Now the throw down to second base is in time to get Grayson Brandt. The bats have come alive here in the second inning for Michigan. A 2-run RBI double for Richard LaRue. 4 hits in the inning. 2-run RBI double for Carmino Koski, and it's 7-1. Boyke working quick. Swing and a miss, and Cole Boyke is in a groove now. Back-to-back 1, 2, 3 innings. Back up the middle, and it gets through into center field. Hollabaugh scores. Omadillo holding at third. How about a 4 RBI night for Rich LaRue? And he lines one out to left field. That'll drop for a base hit. Jackie Frazier coming in to score. It's 9-5 now. Inning still just 1 out. Runners on the corners. And first pitch swinging out to center field. Cole Boyke misread it. It goes over his head. Now coming in to score a run is going to be Chase Twist. They get the out at second. A hit parade for Florida. They put 3 on the board. They trail by 3 going to the 7th. 2-0 line drive left field, base hit. And Melmet going to be held up at third. Now he will go, but it does put the 7th run on the board for Florida. The tying run is coming to the plate for Florida. This one back towards the mound, grabbed by Koski. Throws over to first, and that will do it. Michigan on their way to another Junior League World Series title game tomorrow. End of the road for Florida, but what a fight put up by this team. They were down by 6 runs going to the final 2 innings, and they made it a 2-run game and even got the tying run to the plate here.
The weather came into play during this tournament, especially with your team. Okay, how difficult was it to keep your team ready and controlled?
The one day was tough because we just didn't know what to expect. So it turned into a long day of no baseball and nothing happening. So we had them up early just like every other day, and we got our workouts in, and then we sat around for a while and then waited, went and got warmed up again, and then had to wait, and then we're told we're not playing. And it, as far as the waiting, that was tough on all of us, parents, kids, fans, everybody, but they handled it well. They as disappointed we didn't play that night. They handled it well.
That was definitely a monkey wrench because going into it, we had an idea of what we wanted to do with pitching and days off and stuff like that, and then us pretty much being there a lot of times we got there like 5:30 that day, and we were there till 10 o'clock waiting to know if we had a game or not. So we got the kids up, down, up, down. So it was kind of just trying to keep emotions right, and then go get some rest. And the next day it ended up being a 24-hour rain delay. So we had 7 different times we were going to play, I think. So it definitely was interesting.
Yeah, that was really interesting because actually I think for that time we were told one time we were ready for that time, then we had to shut it down. Then we were ready for the next time, then we had to shut it down. And then finally we had a last time when it was like about an hour and a half before we were supposed to get ready. And we're like, all right, guys, well, let's get going. So we got going. We got all the way to the park, and then that was when they told us, we weren't starting right away. So, yeah, it was a lot of hurry up and wait. But it was tough. But, I mean, like I said, we've got a really good group of boys who just love baseball, and they were enjoying every minute of it. So they were a little annoyed by having to get ready, then stop, but it wasn't too bad. They were ready to go.
When it rained hard, we were ready to play. We wanted to play. Then they just canceled it till the next day.
What'd you guys do to kill time?
We just sat there, watched the game, hoping it'd finish soon.
Yeah, I hear you. When you finished off the U.S. bracket with 2 more wins over Texas and Florida, you by that time outscored your opponents 39-12. I guess I'm sounding redundant, but were you surprised by that point? I mean, or was it just you're scoring runs?
Honestly, I mean, we've always, I felt, have been a good hitting team, so us scoring runs, it really wasn't a concern. I think our biggest maybe concern was our defense, how it was going to hold up, and by that point, it held up pretty well. So this team's hit over the years, so it was nice to get those runs.
We were playing some good baseball at that time. Everyone was hitting the ball. It just felt like it was really good timing.
You just hope nothing changes, like they don't try to do too much, do more than what they had been doing. And I have a thing I say to them a lot: just keep it simple. Keep it simple, and as long as you're doing that, you're going to stay steady. You don't have to make a spectacular play. Just make the plays you're supposed to. And we knew we would hit. We knew that, and would have good at bats, and our pitching was great. So we were a little nervous going into that championship game just because we're playing a really good team. We knew we were playing against another really good team.
We were rolling through it, doing pretty good, and then I don't know what happened that last game, but I had fun. No.
And that's what counts.
That's all that matters.
That's for sure.
High chopper towards third. Tough play for Alex Miller. He makes it look easy, but the throw is offline. That'll score the first run of the game. Chinese Taipei gets on the board. They're going to make you field your position. Popped up. Foul ground. Third base side. Miller over his head. Oh, what a catch. Oh, Willie Mays style over there at third.
Put a star next to this one.
And he gets hit there. Holds his ground. That'll produce the second run of the game for Chinese Taipei. Here's a line shot back up the middle and into center field. Chun being waved around. Here's the throw home. It's a good one. Oh, it gets away from the catcher, Schufelt. Down to third base goes Chung. The throw was on the money from Cole Boyke out there in center field. And it just skipped past the catcher, Schufelt, to allow the third run to score. This one's cranked off the bat of Liu down the right field line, and this ball is out of here. Huan Yu Liu, a one-out blast, and that puts Chinese Taipei up 5-0.
Shades of Shohei Ohtani right there. And this is a Shohei kind of move right there. Just lean into it, young fella. A rocket.
This one's hit well off the bat of LaRue out to center, but that will do it. A complete game shutout in the championship game for Chun Jun Fan and Chinese Taipei, Junior League World Series champions for the third year in a row.
I mean, Chinese Taipei just continues their stranglehold over this event year after year, 9 times since 2013. They are the dynasty. Back-to-back shutouts for them here in this championship game.
What did you think going into the Chinese Taipei game? You saw them last year. What'd you think?
I knew it wasn't going to be an easy game, but if we came out and played our game, we could have won either way. Chinese Taipei was a good team, though.
I thought we had a good chance. They weren't one of the typical Chinese Taipei teams that were hitting the ball, but they were typical in Chinese Taipei that if we made mistakes, we weren't going to be able to recover from them. And that's kind of what happened to us. We made a couple mistakes. The first one in the first inning, we were able to get past. without any damage, but then after that, you can't keep making mistakes against Chinese Taipei.
So we knew the margin of error was thin against that machine from Chinese Taipei, but we had our ace on the mound with Mino. We were pretty confident. The night before was long, so we had that night game and the home run derby, which led into a late night, early morning to get going, so that was kind of a tough go around, but I mean, we were confident going into it, and we held in there for a few innings, and it never really got out of hand by any means. I think they only hit the ball out of the infield twice. One was a home run and then one up the middle, but we felt confident going into that game.
You guys, it must have been tough on the bench early on against Taipei, because it seemed like few uncharacteristic errors. They're minor things. They're not costing you 10 runs, but it was almost like slow death. Okay, they're driving up outs, they're driving up pitch counts, and they're pitching well. And I don't know, what was your feeling when you were sitting there watching?
Feeling was you cannot make a mistake against these guys, and that I'm sure that was all of us. That's just, they play a clean game almost every game. And we have to play that way. In order to beat them, you have to play almost a perfect game, and so you do tend to get a little down going, man, we better hit, but then their pitching was just as good as anybody they've seen all year in any game they've played. So
coming into that game, I thought we had a really good chance. I thought as long as we played clean, we should be all right, but we had that miscue in the first inning there with Lucas, my son, but we were able to, dodge that, and then later on in the game, it just snowballs, and with them you can't really do that. You got to be on your game, and if you make mistakes, you got to hope they don't hurt you, and they did for us.
For me, at least, the nerves were for that U.S. Championship game. I felt great going into that World Championship game. I think the kids did too, but they might have felt it a little bit once they got on the field. Yeah, there were some uncharacteristic errors. I think that's the first time I've seen Alex make a mistake, but I would have him as my third baseman any day of the week. But yeah, we were our own worst enemy, unfortunately, because if you give them an inch, they take a mile, that Chinese Taipei team.
It's definitely some nerves, but most of it's just baseball. It doesn't go your way sometimes.
How do you beat that team?
You have to be 100% perfect, and you have to have them have an off day, which I don't think we've seen that much in about 2 decades. So it's quite tough, to say the least.
Well, I know watching the last 2 championship games, everybody is really impressed with their whole organization, but I watched 2 kids go onto the mound, and they were just that good.
100%. We haven't seen pitching like that. We've played all over the country for tournaments and stuff, but when that kid threw the ball, and it was a different sound, that's for sure. And they were well coached, well disciplined team, and my hat's off to that whole organization. They definitely earned it, but that's a different beast, that's for sure. I don't know if I have an answer on how to beat them. Unfortunately, I did not have one this past August.
I hear you.
Number one thing, you have to play a clean game. You have quality at bats. You have to, it's not even just, you have to put the ball in play, because in the end, they're still just young players, and mistakes can happen, but you got to put the ball in play, hitting, and do everything. You have to play smart and be almost perfect.
Overall, when you look back at the tournament, were you satisfied?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Even though it left a little sour taste at the end, but then when you look back at it, that's a lot to be proud of. Number 1 in the United States, number 2 in the world. There's not much to be upset about. Yeah, I wish it would have ended different, but it was a great experience. The boys played their hearts out, and that's why you get into Little League Baseball to go play in those World Series. I even have our banner. It's hanging up in my classroom at Myers Elementary. So yeah, I'm very proud of it. Very proud of the boys and everything they did.
100%. That was one of the best weeks I've ever had with that group of kids. The support from the community was incredible, top to bottom. The fans were awesome. Our parents, my family, the support I had for a very long summer, I really appreciate, but it was incredible. I can't say enough good things about the week for the Junior League World Series. They put on a great tournament, and we loved every second of it.
Absolutely. Yeah, without a doubt. Absolutely satisfied. There was zero disappointment with from everything, the way the tournament was run, just from the communication that we were able to get from everybody, the turnout with the fans, and how many people were there at each game, the support we had, the support from the community, from some of the restaurants, everything. There are zero complaints. It was completely satisfied with it.
Satisfied with your performance individually? How did you feel?
I felt like I played really good. I was satisfied with my performance.
What'd you think of the team's performance? Were you satisfied to get where you were? And
Yeah, I think we all played really good to make it there, and just the nerves kicked in at the championship game.
Your own performance individually, were you satisfied?
Oh yeah.
You thought you played pretty well?
I thought I did pretty good defensively. I didn't hit as good as I wanted, but I played good defense, and that's all that matters.
Let me put you on the spot.
Yep.
If you had to pick an MVP off of your team out of that tournament, who would it be?
That's definitely a tough question. I would probably give the MVP probably to Mino for sure.
All right.
I think there's a handful of kids I could give it to, but when we needed him on the mound, he really showed up. He had some big hits, but there's 3-4 other kids I could have easily picked for sure.
I hear you.
For that.
I hear you.
Oh man, that one's really tough. I mean, from an offensive standpoint, Lucas, my son, did really well. He had first 3 games, the first 3 RBIs of the game, got us rolling. Pitching wise, I'd have to say Mino. Yeah, I mean, if I had to get, one, I'd probably say Mino, because I feel like our pitching was very important to us in that. But yeah, I mean, it's tough because Lucas is my son, but I know he did a really great job. They all did really good. It would have been tough, but if I had to, an offense and a defense, I'd probably say Lucas and Mino on that.
Lucas Doty, I think.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
he hit the ball great. He had some key hits and times for us early in games, late in games. I mean, I don't remember what he ended up with as far as RBIs, but I know our first few runs of each game were on because of him. There were balls he put in play and tough at bats, and so yeah, I think in the end with the way he hit.
Who's the MVP?
I want to say me, but because I had the most hits, but Mino did good too. Everyone did good. I just don't really know.
Well, you're mirroring exactly what all the coaches said. They all mentioned both you and him. Were you surprised with, we've all talked and seen how Taylor in general rolls out for its team in this series, but we haven't seen that group of young kids. That it was like going to a Michigan football game or something and watching the student section. They were loud, they were boisterous, they were having a lot of fun.
We honestly felt like we were at, like you said, a Michigan football game with the student section. It was incredible to see. I didn't know that was going to happen, but it was a pleasant surprise, and we loved every second of it. They were great cheering us on, and that home field advantage was really something. Seeing the community get together and how loud it was quite hard to hear out on that field. Like even from when we were in the dugout trying to communicate to Jackson, our catcher, Rick Thorning actually gave us a warning about that. And it was loud, and it just really fueled us, that's for sure.
When you look back, you're going to walk away from this and you're going to have, this past year, the previous year, and the 2021 extravaganza in Williamsport. What was the most satisfying?
Of all of them?
Yeah.
I mean, the Little League one, the 12-year-old one.
Okay.
I mean, not only just winning it all, the traveling, the everything that we had to go through to even get there, just with it being the COVID year and worried about not being able to see the kids for weeks. We didn't get to see them for almost a month. It seemed like we didn't even get to see them, touch them, hug them, anything. You could see them from farther away than this. So in the end, for them to make it all the way through on that one was probably the most satisfying for me. I mean, that's hard to beat that. That's the big one.
Yeah, that's kind of the creme de la creme, isn't it?
That's the big
one. No doubt about that. Who would win that game? This team against last year's team?
Yeah, we all had that. We were all talking about it in the hotel rooms. All we even talked to like Cam, Lucas, Ethan. We all even said to them like who would win, you know?
What'd they think?
They said it would be a close game.
Okay, all righty.